In this recording, I'd like to demonstrate how to use the ProxieChat application. I'm going to start up ProxieChat. The first thing I need to do before I can do anything else is I need to create an account to log in on. Currently I do not have an account, so I'm just going to create a new account. So I'm just going to create an account called Phone Lover. With a password of 123. Now the email address is important. If I were to forget my password, I would not be able to retrieve my password unless I had a valid email address. You have the ability to have your password reset through email, so it is important to put in a valid email address. So at this point, I'm just going to log in. After logging in, I can see the public timeline. These are all people within my area that are currently posting messages. Now, I can check the proximity, and the proximity can be set to an unlimited amount, or it could go within a certain mile range. So for example, if I go to 0.1 mile, my timeline would possibly look different than if I went unlimited. Unlimited, I'm going to see everyone that has ever posted messages on ProxieChat, which to start with may not be a bad way to go if people in your neighborhood have not been posting messages. So if you see something that you don't like, or someone that you're not interested in seeing their messages, you can swipe their message and you can ignore them. At that point, it filters any message that that user has ever sent out of your timeline. If you'd like to post a message, you hit the tag button. So you're tagging a location. And at this point, you can just put in a message. And when you publish it, it's taking your longitude and latitude and it's placing this message at that location. If someone else posts a message, you'll see that a new tag is above you, and you can scroll up and see what someone has posted. So in this case, Bob just said cool. If I wanted to reply, I could click on that message. I can see that Bob is right in my neighborhood, and he did it 15 seconds ago. I could reply, and when I publish it, that goes onto the timeline as well. If anyone would want to look at the entire thread, you could click on that and look at the responses. And this will organize everyone that has posted in the order that they posted. I'm just going to go back to the public timeline. If I wanted to, I could send a direct message to Bob. I'm just going to create a new message to send to Bob. Now I have the ability to type in Bob's name, but if I didn't know Bob's name, or if I forgot what Bob's name was, I do have the ability to add him to a contact list. So from Bob, I can add Bob as a contact. At this point, Bob is now one of my contacts. So if it's someone that I'm going to be communicating with frequently, I'll probably want them to be a contact. That way you don't have to worry about having the exact correct spelling. So now I can just click on the To button. I can select the contact off my contact list, and then it's in there. So I'm just going to send the message. To get rid of the keyboard, I just clicked anywhere on the screen. So the message has now been sent to Bob. If, for example, I've got some coworkers that I want to keep them all organized, I have the ability to make a custom list. It's called a filtered list. What it does is it filters everything out except for the people that are in that list. So I'm going to make a new list for my coworkers. So I'm just going to create a coworkers list. And actually, since I'm at it, I'm going to make a friends list as well. So what I want to do is I want to add Bob as one of my friends. I have the ability to add Bob to my friends list. So this will just add Bob into my friends list. If I go back over to the lists and I look at my friends list, Bob will be on there. If I wanted to, I could add another person by their name or their email address. But for right now, this is working just fine for me. So I want to add some coworkers. Dr. Thunder is currently a coworker of mine, and he is traveling around and he's currently in Florida. So I'm going to add Dr. Thunder to my coworker list. So if I wanted to, I could break away from the proximity and be able to see everyone's posts. So the proximity is on the public timeline, and I can expand my proximity or limit my proximity based upon my proximity settings on the phone. But if I wanted to just see all my coworkers' posts or all my friends' posts, I could just add them to the list, and now I can see all of my coworkers' lists. So as Dr. Thunder's moving around the country, he's doing different posts testing the ProxieChat applications in different cities to make sure that everything works correctly. So if I was curious, I could click on the Florida link and I can see how many miles away Dr. Thunder is from me. If I go to my friends list, it's exactly the same thing. Now I'm just seeing all of Bob's posts. And if I go back into the public timeline, I can see everyone else's posts. And I can thin those posts down by setting my proximity. So for example, if I was at a conference or maybe at a concert and I only wanted people that were currently attending that concert to show up on my public timeline, I just set it to maybe a mile or even half a mile. So that way everyone within that venue would only be the people that I'd be able to see here. And then I could tag things, they could tag things, and we would be able to hold a conversation in here. But as I leave that venue and I travel to a different location, those messages will fall off of the public timeline and new messages will come onto the public timeline. The lists can also be managed from the lists button on the phone as well. So for example, at some point in time, if I wanted to stop ignoring a specific user, I could do that. Or if I wanted to add new contacts, I could do that. Or if I wanted to add new filtered lists or people to filtered lists, I have the ability to manage all of that within the list settings. So this is a basic overview of how to use this ProxieChat application. I hope you have as much fun as I did.